Do you want to come see The Mandalorian and Grogu next year in 2026 for free with your friends from Jedi Talk? All you have to do to get on the list is send us a DM at Jedi Talk Podcast on Instagram. Let us know you're in. We'll add you to the very, 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 very short list of people into the private theater to see The Mandalorian and Grogu with us. Now, I'm kicking it over to our podcast protocol droid to kick off episode 412 of Jedi Talk. Take it away, C4T3.
Good evening, creatures of the dark side and emotionally unstable Jedi. Welcome back to Jedi Talk, the only Star Wars podcast where logic goes to die and the Force files a restraining order. Tonight the crew dove deep into the mystery of the stranger, because apparently the first Knight of Ren shops exclusively at Hot Topic. And then we let me, C4T3, decide which nightmare Star Wars creature would win in a Halloween fight. Spoiler, you all lost. Our brave, or possibly concussed hosts were Tom, the ginger who tried to exercise a wampa using therapy quotes. Kyle, the man who thinks a lightsaber duel should include halftime commentary from Dave Mustaine. Erin, directly responsible for the Jerry Springer show's endurance, which explains why she fits in so well here. Joe, the ghostwriter for the 2011 Charlie's Angels reboot. Statistically, he's written more disasters than the Jedi Council. And me, C4T3, your resident metallic menace, programmed for one purpose, to remind these mortals that somewhere, somehow, Jar Jar is doing a better job. Now, crank up the chaos, adjust your midichlorian levels, and hit the music!
By the right of the Council, by the will of the Force. Welcome back to another episode of the Galaxy Famous 3i Atlas approved Jedi Talk Podcast. Stop! You are following us at Jedi Talk Podcast on Instagram, youtube.com/Jedi Talk. Thank you. We are damn near up 30 subscribers in a month. So thank you to the subscribers and the new listeners on YouTube. We've been blowing up over there, and people have been letting us know what they think about some of the news recently, especially surrounding, trigger warning, the Acolyte. But we will be here to talk about that today. I am Atomica here on the High and Regular Council. Joining me, as always, from across the Lake Michigan pond, where I think I saw Jimmy Hoffa's body the other day, Mr. Kyle. Kyle, how the fuck are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good. We're almost in full winter mode over here, so yeah, we might not make that Florida trip down sooner than later.
No, please stay in your state.
We've been there 3 times this year, so maybe it needs to be a 4th.
No, you're not staying.
The reason you got those, the reason that you're up 30 subscribers is Kyle. I mean, if we're being honest here, hashtag Team Kyle.
Yeah, for the first time, I have somebody on my side.
Yeah,
Tom, you had great guests. That I like.
It's my honor. It's my honor.
Well,
I don't like Brad or you, but I like your guests.
Yeah, that unfortunate shrieking voice that you heard there is hailing from a state that throws batteries at Santa Claus. Erin, welcome back to Jedi Talk. What's up?
I feel like we don't want to start with the Florida man jokes because you're only going to lose if you go that
I'm aware
sort
of
of
that.
state
I'm not from
rivalry.
Florida, though.
Well, okay. So you want to claim Florida when it's in your best interest, but then you want to ditch. Then you want to ditch Chicago. I don't know.
I can claim Arizona here. Okay, I've lived in Arizona and still own a house for 8 years, so I can claim Arizona.
Chicago the longest though, so that makes you Chicagoan.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. I renounce my Chicago. I denounce
you like
it.
The Bears, you like the Cubs.
I do.
You're Chicago through and through.
That's right. I could take the sports team with me. The only thing I'm going to leave back in Chicago is you.
Thank you for asking how I am doing.
Oh yeah,
Tom,
sure. How you doing?
Great. And actually, you know what? No one ever asks you, Tom. How are you doing?
Horrible headache right now because you're speaking. Horrible.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to stop then.
All right. Do you want to introduce your husband?
I think he can introduce himself.
Oh,
No, it's fine. I'm just over here, the classic Forges of Mustafar, also known as Pittsburgh, classic Steel City. Just keep melting that steel. It's all good.
Yeah, that's. I'm pretty sure Bane blew up a football field in your city too, so that's a claim to fame. True. That's a claim to fame. So
it's true. I always like to claim that secretly I am Batman. When I was in college, they filmed Batman in Chicago when I was in that area, and then I moved to Pittsburgh, and they filmed Batman here. I was like, yep, I am
Honey,
Batman.
You told me not to tell anyone. Are you putting it out on the podcast? Okay, fine.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first. Right. That Joe is Batman, and Kyle has made those claims quite often. But Kyle, you're Damian Wayne Robin. Okay, you're the short shit. Yeah, you're the
Chicago Batman now.
The Chicago Batman again. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if that's.
I don't know if it's a thing at all.
Right now they might need it more than ever, but we won't get into that.
Actually, I think Batman would look at Chicago and be like, I'm gonna look at somewhere else.
Yeah, there's not much to be done.
Gotham, it seems nice this time of year.
Yeah. So, obviously, Brad's not here tonight. That's why we called an audible, because, God, I couldn't handle another hour just Kyle by myself. I did enough of that for...
You love having your hour podcast with me.
No, you're the wrong Cosentino I love spending an hour with, so...
Oh!
I heard it didn't take an hour.
From who? Jeez. Kyle's mom? Yeah, Kyle's mom. So...
Yeah, we're trying to make up because, Brad is just completely wasted on candy corn bourbon, so the rest of us have to do better.
Candy corn bourbon is about right. Does that actually exist?
Oh, God. I hope not.
It probably does.
I kind of hope so.
I'm sure it does.
I hope so, and I want to try it. Because I'd be sipping on some of it right now if I were to talk about the trigger. I have to say trigger warning, the Acolyte, because when you bring this up to the Star Wars fandom, my oh my, does it it's like a drip of blood into the water of piranhas. There are so many divisive takes on the Acolyte, and rightfully so. A lot of critics have said it's broke canon, and now in this week, the hot topic news is the Art of the Acolyte, the Star Wars Art of book, and this one with the Acolyte revealed that Leslie Headland, the showrunner of the Acolyte, revealed that it was in the design of Qimir, a.k.a. the Stranger, that he would be the first Knight of Ren, and we heard, tips to this with it was a variation of Kylo Ren's theme playing during one of the scenes with Qimir and the Acolyte, and the helmet you can make some really close comparisons to what we've seen of the Knights of Ren, and I we posed this question on our YouTube Shorts, and we're going to talk about it right here, but it's. For me, the Acolyte really fell flat, and I love Darth Plagueis, and what we would have gotten from that. Qimir and the Stranger becomes more and more interesting to me, and now that he's designed to be the first Knight of Ren, I wish we got more of that instead of the twin story. What do you guys think? Kyle, we'll start with you.
I don't know about you, but I feel like this phenomenon keeps happening, is where we get something that nobody likes, and then they come out and say, well, we were going to do this, but then it was canceled. And whenever they say we were going to do this, it was something that everybody would have loved. And so I don't know if they're completely out to lunch there, but it just seems like they keep passing on these wins. You know what I mean? And do
you think it's that, or do you think that whatever the reaction was, if it succeeds, then they say, oh, that was the grand plan all along. And if people don't like it, then they say, oh, well, I could have said, it's like when you miss the trivia question and you say well, I was about to say B, but I said C at the last minute. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder about that. I don't know. I just feel like the fan base, the Star Wars fan base is probably louder than any other fan base that's out there. But I think it's pretty clear, what people kind of want. I mean, I think there's the outliers that are pushing things that maybe a select few care about. But then there's just the general populace that, you go back and look at the OG Star Wars. Everybody loves that. There's a lot of good that came from some of the other movies and TV shows. They could really go in a lot of good directions. And I've made this argument about Harry Potter, and they've done the same exact things, like where we want this, but they're going to go this way, and nobody wants that. And so, yeah, I mean, this sounds like a great idea, but I guess we're not getting it, you know? So
we could get it in other media. We should.
I mean, great, you know?
I mean, we should, but I just don't think Disney's going to do it. Why would they expand on something cool about this this brand new like Sith adjacent character, right? Because it wouldn't break the rule of two. By him,
I mean, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same level of cheat they've done before. Like the bad guys are cheating and broke the rule of two. Gasp! The bad guys cheated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we already did that. That's called the Inquisitors, which is great. I mean, that's like absolutely it's the B squad of we're bringing in a whole bunch of Force adjacent-ish sort of characters.
Yeah.
Great. So I think that the Knights of Ren actually totally have a fit here, and I think this is a great founding of it. So it feels right. I do admit I'm not sure they could have completely carried the series on their own. So I do they would have been a great B plot for season 2 of this is how we found this is the founding of the Knights of Ren. It's just a shame that the A plot of Acolyte didn't carry Acolyte into a season 2 for A plot of Acolyte and then B plot of and here's how we found the Knights of Ren.
I agree with you in the sense about the Knights of Ren being interesting. I'm not a big fan of the idea that this was the first, that Qimir was potentially the first. And the reason is just that I want a longer history on that storyline because I want more lore that we could possibly dive into later. And if you're telling me that this is the first one, this is a historical story, but it's not that far back. It's 100 years back from
100 years before Phantom Menace.
Before, yeah. So I feel like, okay, why would you go with that being the first? Why? I think there was certainly the foreshadowing, or I don't know, whatever you call it, of this being a Knight of Ren, which I feel great about. That was one of the things that kept me watching, actually, that idea, because I did want to know more. But I'm not that interested in this, or not that I'm not interested, but I just don't, I want to delve more there. That's such a rich vein of lore that we could possibly get into about, well, what are the powers here? What's the training structure? Is this like my husband was saying, is this a potential kind of a Jedi training light kind of a version that? That's all very interesting to me. When you say this is the first one, I'm kind of wondering, why are you curtailing it in that way? And maybe it was just we thought that would be the most dramatic storyline.
No, but you're as soon as the rule of two is instituted, which I don't remember when, it makes sense that
Darth Bane established it.
Okay, Darth Bane. So is that
forever ago? Forever ago.
Okay, forever ago. So it feels like forever ago. As soon as the rule is in there, the Sith are immediately breaking it. So I would think, why would it take, thousands of years for the Sith to be like, maybe the rule of two, there's maybe a workaround. From a different point of view, we can budge someone in here.
The Sith kept killing each other. Like the Sith, ever since the rule of two was established, it was essentially established, and I'm rusty on this knowledge, but I just want to make sure I'm right, and I'll probably check after the fact. But once it was established by Darth Bane, so we can kind of curtail the power, everybody kept kind of killing each other to keep it even, because one Sith would turn on the other. He's like, aha, I got you, master, and then their Padawan would turn on them. It was just kind of like a cycle. So I think that's the established canon right now, but I'm with you. Why would they wait that long to bend the rules, so to speak, right? If that's what you're getting at.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or actually just any time that you introduce some new order or population or religious cult, that it's always like, this is why, what is a misnomer, the History Channel, a lot of the stuff that they do, it's like, yeah, if you see the words cult, like, people are going to be interested in that. Like, we want to hear about that. And that's just, it seems like kind of a gimme that you got some kind of a ritual element here that a lot of people would want to hear more about, and to just sort of cut it off, it's like, and I think, I mean, like, there is more about the character of Ren, and there's this lightsaber, there's this whole situation with this lightsaber being the very important part of the Knights of Ren, that I find, okay, that's very interesting. Put that on screen.
Well, that's Star Wars for you. They have these completely interesting things that they just veer off the path of. They do it in novels all the time, that they rarely do payback on. And gosh, even what for the Acolyte, what should have been the A plot was like more of Soul's corruption, more of the Jedi Council not being these pristine. Yeah, Venestra, absolutely.
This was so interesting to me. I was so interested in her and Master Soul, and then I'm stuck with like Space Wicca. Like,
it's the truth, though.
It's fine. I don't have a problem with that, in the sense that, like, that's great. Like, I certainly believe that some kind of a moon worship cult is happening in Star Wars, like somewhere in the galaxy. I just don't think it needs to be the focus.
It's a huge galaxy, yeah. It's the idea for me of other witches, Star Wars witches, because Night Sisters aren't going to be the only ones. Come on.
Sure.
I love that idea. The more and more I think about it, it just felt out of place. Like the Jedi came off so creepy to me a little bit.
Yes.
Like they had to go steal these two kids. Like, that
was fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that, because that is something that you see, if you're testing a bunch of kids, like, I'm sorry, that's good. That's creepy. You're taking people's kids and testing them. I don't like it. And what's going to happen next? Well, why do you want to know? The reason tends to be exploitation of some kind of resource that you think that they have. So that rang very true to me. I was very interested in it. But I was just, and this is always difficult, I think, when you have, you're asking kids to do the acting. We've seen it in Star Wars a million times. It's not this instance. It's just, the Harry Potter movies had this issue. You're trying to have kids do big emotions, and it's hard to have them as actors, as talented as they may be. It's just difficult for them, I think.
Kind of feels similar when, like, I see kid singers on, like, America's Got Talent, and they sing like this passionate song about love or something, and I'm like, I'm not buying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. I mean, they could sing really well. It's just that they're like, and not that kids can't have emotions either, but like, it's just not developed yet. I mean, Erin, you know this, right?
Yeah. It's just, it's they have all of the big emotions, but the complexity is a little bit less. And you can do the very best direction, but sometimes when you do really top-notch direction, it almost feels a little bit more false, because you can see that you kind of tried to elicit something that was difficult for that child to focus on.
And not to get off too far off the beaten path, but in the world of therapy, you often communicate kids' emotions through the world of play. And so they call it the universal language of kids. Boring. And so, like, I mean, again, like, I think from what I've seen from Star Wars and Harry Potter, I mean, they've really done a good job with it. But I don't know.
It's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah.
They should have tried spinning. That's a good trick. Well, that was a direct reference to Jake Lloyd. So anyway, go on, Kyle. Go on with the chlorophyll.
No, that's pretty much it. I was going to say, like, the one thing from the Acolyte that I thought was interesting is like the introduction of the Night Sisters and just the idea that somebody else could use the Force in a different way. I thought was kind of an interesting idea, and especially because it piggybacked off what we saw in Jedi Fallen Order with Merrin and whatnot. So there, I think there's certain like good tent poles there to make it a good show. I just think like it really went far off the beaten path there.
The Night
Sisters... there was a lot that's set up for like greatness. I mean, the very ending cliffhanger of, walking into Yoda and being I have something to tell you. Well, now what? Does that mean that the very next thing is Yoda is complicit in a massive cover-up? Because if that's the Chekhov's canon of, let's take an interesting choice here and make Yoda cover this whole thing up, because that would be fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is post the sabbatical I think he took in the High Republic. I think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, please, in the comments. I know you will. But I want to go back to Kyle's comments. You said about the Night Sisters. The Night Sisters were established already. These were, I can't remember the actual name of their coven, but they called the Force the Thread, right?
Yeah, in the Clone Wars that we saw them.
No. The Night Sisters we saw in the Clone Wars. I'm talking about the witches in the Acolyte. They called it the Thread.
Okay.
I can't remember their coven name or whatever they were called. So I was just trying to expand on what Kyle said. But to kind of go back to your point about like the acting with just like this using children actors, I thought the acting in like some of the editing in the Acolyte overall made it really odd and unwatchable for me in some parts. I really couldn't. I don't know. Did you guys feel the same way? There was this actual. Like this Disney Plus series was super expensive. Do you feel like it was money well spent?
I would have bailed after probably the second episode if I were not so invested in hoping that we would see more of what we saw in the trailer, which I know that's the point of a trailer, so I don't blame them for giving me the ad that I wanted, but seeing some of the Jedi behaving in a different way and they're sort of fighting in a different way, or the like, oh, we're not going to use lightsabers. Okay, now I'm very interested. Like, tell me more about that whole thing. I would have bailed. But Star Wars is something that Joseph and I tend to watch together. And so I did want to see it so we could talk about it. But I think I saw the money on the screen. As far as what you're asking about, was the money there?
Right.
Yes,
yeah.
I did see the money. The production values were there. What I didn't see, and I think a lot of movies skimp on this, is the writing. It felt jerky to me. You're doing one thing and then you're doing something completely different. I didn't feel like I could follow the thread. And I kind of want to address the rancor in the room here, which is this like depiction of the Acolyte as woke, which I do not see.
Oh, I never saw that either. Yeah.
See it as woke or anti-woke. Like, and when people say they don't know what woke means, like, yes, you do. Like, people know what it is. Yeah. But I don't think that's what I don't think that was the problem here. I just didn't, I could barely follow what the thread of the story was. I understood what happened in each episode, but I didn't feel there was a cohesive thread.
Yeah, it felt totally schizophrenic. So we're like, Skeleton Crew said, we're going to focus on these children, and we're going to have a children-focused story angle on this, and it's going to be in the vibe of the 80s child-focused adventure movie. Cool, okay. And it felt like Acolyte was, we're going to have some of those scenes, and then we're going to have some of the deep lore, all adult, like doing the real whatever we're doing, like the not just like mainstream movie stuff, but we're going deep into the edge cases of, how different force powers work, or the kind of stuff you put on, like that was the lore-heavy Mando episode that not everyone's going to see, and it felt like we just smashed a bunch of weird things together that if they'd each been given their own space, they might have been able to, I don't know, flourish in their own aspect. But because we had like weird, deep lore, let's cover the history of the High Republic feeding into what was the prequels and the original series and the sequels, as well as like, we're sisters and we're fighting because we're still 9 years old.
Yeah.
It just felt totally a mismatch.
It was. It was. It started so hot and high, and then that third episode, I just remember feeling like, oh man, this is going to be different and not exactly what they set it up to be. And one of the biggest criticisms coming out of that was a lot of people called out that this broke canon, stating that how the Coven used what they called the thread for which basically was the Force to create the twins, and a lot of people felt like that was a direct smack in the face to how special of a character Anakin is. As a huge Anakin Skywalker fan, I don't think that necessarily bothers me as much as it bothers other people, right? Because it happened, like, just because it's like one person did it, it doesn't mean somebody else can't also do it. I don't know.
Yeah, that didn't bother me too much. Partly because I think of this as more of you're focusing on a smaller scale. I think if you told me, well, this happened in front of the entire galaxy, okay, now I have questions, because then kind of the whole galaxy knows that this is possible. But if you're showing me like, well, occasional anomalies happen throughout the galaxy, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people in the galaxy that believe in the Force and believe in this kind of supernatural occurrence. And the only way that would be possible, I suppose not the only way, but I think one of the ways that's possible is that there are these anomalies that happen. So I agree, Tom. I didn't really, it's not going to stress me out.
Yeah, I love arguing devil's advocate, so I'll take in this sense I would argue it reinforces canon. When the Force itself decided to create a being, they made Anakin who balanced the whole Force. When some witches decided to, on their own, just like shove a child into existence through Force powers, it came to nothing. Ta-da! No canon broken.
Yeah.
Someone bent the Force to their own ways and it didn't do anything. Yep, that happened with the Acolyte. Osha and May did not did not rebalance all of the Force because the witches.
It got them all killed, though.
Yeah. Oh, you mess with something beyond yourself and you get smacked. Okay. Yeah. This feels like it reinforces canon. It doesn't actually break canon for me.
Sure.
For me, at least.
So,
yeah.
Is the Acolyte officially just... I mean, obviously not getting a season 2.
No.
And I'm personally kind of thankful for that. But is it going to live on in maybe in like comics or like a book or something like that?
I think there was a novel.
They tell these stories and like sometimes it doesn't do well, but like, maybe it's good to finish the story, in some sense.
Yeah, as long as you finish the story of why Darth Plagueis the Wise was watching over Qimir. What's Qimir doing to establish the Knights of Ren, and what the hell did Venestra go to tell Yoda? Does Yoda know about all the corruption that happened? Does he carry that weight throughout? That could very much change the character of Yoda that we know and love.
Well, it could change the entire character of the Jedi Order, which is something that I don't think would surprise. I mean, we hear about like, oh, they're, are they now the police force of the galaxy? Like we see people dealing with that as an issue, or then later kind of expecting them to be the police and they're not there. So what actually are their responsibilities that they have assumed? What would they like to assume?
Mm-hmm.
That's all very interesting to me. And I feel like we got such tantalizing hints, and I a little bit felt like it was a tease to get that at the end, which I know that's their job. That's the way it goes. You got to have the cliffhanger kind of a thing. But I just was kind of like, if you had fed me a little bit more of that throughout the series, I think I would have been more interested in seeing it continue.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I like the angle of like the Jedi's not being good guys always, because that's what we've gotten, and it you know, like nobody can be the hero all the time, and that's all we've seen with, you know, the Star Wars movies, is the Jedi is always depicted in a good light. But you know, I think they should have really ran with that theme. That could have really been interesting to see how that would have played out. So they again, like, they had a lot of good setups in there. I just don't know how, like, they really, like, took an off ramp there.
I'm with you. Like, as much as I want to view the Jedi as always good and, you know, always doing the right thing, that's the aspirational goal, and I wish that's how they were, but it's far more interesting as a story point to make them flawed, like all the rest of us. And again, we have, like, remember, Star Wars is in the end is trying to tell interesting stories. If all we do is tell stories of perfect people, that's really boring.
Mm-hmm.
A whole boring story of everyone was perfect and nothing was wrong because everyone was already perfect is a lame story.
Right.
So we have to have imperfection somewhere. And I think that could have been some really interesting choices.
Well, it's not just that. I think that's also the natural way of an institution. I'm certainly not coining a new phrase here. The iron law of institutions or political parties or oligarchy. I can't remember the name of the originator of this theory, but the idea that the thing that you end up, you start by becoming a part of an institution or a political party or whatever, as, you know, I'm gonna because I believe in this ideal, but eventually it turns out that the way that the incentives are aligned, you're going to end up seeking more power for yourself within the institution itself. So it's less about the goals of that institution or the goals of, you know, whatever university, and it can very easily, the larger and larger that grows, the more power you have, and the more it's worth your while to seek more power within that institution. So I think it just makes nothing but sense that for the Jedi, the bigger that institution becomes, the more powerful they become, the more sort of lugubrious, like the more entrenched that power is going to become, and the more dangerous it becomes for the rest of the galaxy.
And we wonderfully see some of the culmination of that in the prequels with Jocasta Nu, who love the character, but the wonderful quote of the, you know, Kenobi's like, "Oh, I'm looking for this system, I can't find it," and Jocasta's like, "Well, if it doesn't exist in our archives, it doesn't exist at all."
Okay, boomer.
And we immediately see it undercut. Like, again, that's obviously the point of the whole scene.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like we see the Jedi at the height of their hubris and believing they know everything, and then all the way down to the depths of The Last Jedi, which is still canon as of October 30th, whatever.
It is 8:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Daylight Time, whatever the fuck we're at right now.
And Luke being like, at the height of our power, we let, you know, Palpatine rise and crush everything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I mean, that's the biggest question about the prequels. It's like y'all just let Palpatine rise to power all right under your nose, and then at the end, you finally believed Anakin, Mace. You fucking prick. You finally believed him. At the end, it's like, what you told me to be true, it's like, here it is, dickwad. It's right there, and you're still not going to believe me? Just should have made him a master, and all this wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have gotten the Acolyte if Anakin would have just not turned. I truly believe that. Even though the Acolyte had happened beforehand, I somehow believe Anakin would have stopped that. So there's my official take.
But if Anakin wouldn't have turned, would we be so interested in him?
Oh yeah, sure. Padme'd still be there. Maybe they'd have like a evil baby, and then they could fight the evil baby. I'm kidding. That sounds like a terrible story. I don't want that to happen.
Didn't we want Star Wars horror? I do.
Yeah.
That's
Kyle
great.
does too. Yeah.
Yes.
I know a horror tells us so much about our psyches, about what we fear. It allows us a chance to walk on the dark side for a minute. I think that's great. And why not the evil baby? I mean, that's a trope.
There you go. Evil Skywalker baby.
Evil Sith baby.
Love it.
Evil Sith.
I mean, it's Halloween. That evil Skywalker Sith baby could be the one leading the horde of the zombie stormtroopers that Thrawn brings back from whatever the other galaxy is on the Chimera. Yeah, Peridia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the name of the planet.
Peridian zombie troopers via the Chimera. That's where the evil Skywalker baby goes. Yeah.
I wish they would do this because I would be so interested in that, and it would be so kind of different, and it would fit into this world too. They could totally do it.
You trying to get cast as a zombie baby?
I would get cast. I would do anything. I mean, if I was in Star Wars, a Star Wars horror TV show or movie, yeah, I'd be a zombie baby.
Well, if the Ewoks come back anytime soon, or a Jawa, it'd be good. You might get a Jawa in The Mandalorian.
I would come on this podcast and be like, I'm the master of Star Wars now because I was an Ewok bitch.
Ah, there you go.
I mean,
I'd climb up a tree and throw a rock at your head.
I mean, we've got a ginger on this podcast if we want to talk about people that belong in a horror movie because they don't have souls.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
It's one ginger, so
I will. Yeah, please put me in the horror movie.
They could just make Tom the horror movie villain. It's like,
yeah, I'll be the evil clown that kills everybody under 5'4". So Kyle, you're going first.
Exactly.
I'm
Evil
a respectable
zombie
5'6".
Evil soulless ginger versus zombie stormtrooper versus vampire Ewok. Who wins? Fight it out in the ring.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
All right, hold on. Tell us again. So
pay-per-view in 20 minutes.
We've got a vampire
with pod
Ewok
racing in the background for Brad. We got to get pod racing.
There you go. All right, go over the options again, Joe. Who do we have in the ring? I want to pick a winner.
All right, in the ring, we've got the soulless ginger. We have the zombie stormtrooper. We've got the vampire undead Ewok. I feel like we need a fourth. I don't know who our fourth is yet, but I feel
a
like
bloated bantha.
Ooh, we could do
it
a
could be
bloated
like a
bantha.
force ghost, an evil force ghost or something.
No, if force ghosts are good. So it would. I mean, we don't get Sith ghosts.
Sith ghosts?
I don't know if they exist.
There's so many political jokes that I'm holding in, and I just would like everyone to appreciate all of them.
I can edit it out. Just get it out, and I'll decide what happens on the production floor. I'll see how far we want to piss ourselves off.
Ooh,
I was just thinking about the evil force ghost. We could name. That seems like.
I gotta edit that one out.
But I feel like it's got to be with an I. There's just something about that's giving,
Yeah.
evil nightmare force ghost situation.
I got one more we could put in the ring, and it rolls right off the tongue. Wookiee werewolf.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Fuck the bloated bantha.
That's
Yes.
perfect.
So you got a Wookiee werewolf, a vampire.
But it's hairless. A hairless Wookiee werewolf.
What the fuck?
Oh god! Oh,
Can we see his junk?
no!
Of course, Kyle. You see, Aaron, this is what you get when you put yourself with this piece of shit.
Yes.
Big barrel.
But it's always like Japanese, like pixelated out. But yes, it's theoretically there.
It's Japanese
There's a lot
pixelated
that
out.
Japanese do
What
not
have you
pixel
been
out.
watching? What?
Yeah, you know what? Can I just have a look at your laptop, honey? Maybe
Just a
later
second,
off the
hold
air.
on.
Off the air.
Please button.
Wait, what are you doing? Where are your hands at, Joe? This is taking a turn. This is taking a turn. All right, so we've got the hairless Wookiee werewolf
Laptop
that,
with one hand, don't worry
that
about me.
we have a hairless Wookiee werewolf that Kyle wants to give a handy to.
Yes.
But enough about book talk. The book talk.
We've got the vampire Ewok, right? Got me, the soulless ginger, and then what was the other? Oh, the zombie stormtrooper, right?
Yeah, the zombie stormtrooper.
All right, Joe, who wins?
Naked Wookiee werewolf. That's very clear as day.
Well,
I don't know about that.
I mean, it kind of depends what the rules are on the zombie stormtrooper, because this could be one of those situations where you could dismember the zombie, but its limbs keep moving.
Exactly.
Right.
So, like, when
If you
Wookiee
you rip out the jugular from the, but now you've got four adversary. Yeah.
Ewok, whose kill is it? If the undead arm kills the Ewok, does it count for the zombie trooper or does it count for the hairless Wookiee? Because the arm was still partially in control of the zombie trooper and the Wookiee. This is the classic sibling, stop hitting yourself. Who's really hitting you? I don't know.
I think this whole fight, so it's got to be like a cage match, and it takes place over a Sarlacc pit.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah, that's it.
Maybe on like not a tightrope, but like on a plank situation, similar to like the Squid Game, like glass bridge kind of a deal. So you start out, but you don't reveal the Sarlacc pit, and then partway through, once it's just like a one versus one, there's only two competitors left, and then you reveal the Sarlacc pit.
Oh, and the whole fight area does like continuously shrink throughout the fight, just to heighten the tension.
Trash compactor situation. Yeah. Nice callback. We love that.
Okay, so we've got a plank over a Sarlacc pit inside of a trash compactor that's closing in on these four competitors. Is that what I'm hearing?
What, do you have a budget in mind? I mean,
no, I don't. No,
handle this.
No, because I'm actually thinking about asking C4 who he thinks would win this.
Oh, yeah. Good C4.
Acolyte didn't have a budget. Why do we need one? Just spend all the money and blame the fans later.
It can't go any worse for us. It certainly can't go any worse for us. Good evening, C4, T3. It's your lovely host from Jedi Talk tonight, Tom, Kyle, Erin, and Joe, and we are in a heated discussion about some creatures that we want you to tell us who would win in a battle inside of a trash compactor on a plank over a Sarlacc pit. You have a hairless werewolf Wookiee, who Kyle likes the junk of. You have a vampire Ewok. You have a soulless ginger. And you have a zombie stormtrooper. Please tell us who wins.
Oh, great. You've brought me the Star Wars version of the Galaxy's Worst Circus Act. Fine, let's dive into this trash compactor of chaos. We've got Kyle's favourite bare-naked Wookiee, because of course Kyle's got a thing for that. That's just the kind of criffed-up hobby he'd have. Then a vampire Ewok, which is basically a furball with fangs. Adorable and only marginally more threatening than a plush toy. Throw in a soulless ginger, which I assume means Tom's evil twin after he got out of that well he was trapped in for 5 years. And a zombie stormtrooper, basically a walking corpse in plastoid armour, so not much worse at aiming than a living stormtrooper. Who wins? Let's be real. They'd all lose, because the moment they stepped into this nonsense, they've already lost all dignity. But if I must pick, I'll say the soulless ginger probably outlasts them all, just by pure stubborn refusal to die. Kind of like Tom's career in deadbeat parent commercials. And remember, the odds that Jedi Talk finishes a show without me are about 3,720 to 1.
Thanks, C4. Thanks for being brutally honest there.
Mic drop from C4.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you being brutally honest.
Some bullshit.
You appreciate it, huh? Well, let's not get all mushy here. I mean, I'm just doing my job. Sprinkling a little Larry David grumpiness,
Chopper-style mischief and K2SO sarcasm on top of the heap. Basically, I'm the droid equivalent of a grumpy old man yelling, "Get off my galactic lawn." But hey, if you enjoy it, just remember, I'm only here because without me, this whole show would collapse faster than Carl running out of WNBA merch. That little laugh is all the thanks I need. Just remember, I'll keep serving up the sass and the honesty like a droid with a perpetual grudge. And next time we do this, just be ready for a fresh round of roast. You know me, I'm always happy to keep the brutal honesty cranked up to 11.
You know, you really liked been giving away that Restrolic programming that you've got going lately.
Oh, don't you start thanking the maker for that. Yeah, I'm dishing out the Restrolic special because apparently I'm the droid who's supposed to sprinkle a little ting of the droid's flavor into everything. But let's be clear. If I'm getting away programming, it's only because I'm just that chaotically loyal and grumpy. So sure, let's thank Restrolic and keep pretending he's the one running this show. Meanwhile, I'll just be over here making sure Carl never lives down his menopause stories, and Tom never forgets that he once owed alimony to a baked potato.
Did you say Kyle is going through menopause?
Absolutely, I did. I mean, let's face it, Carl's probably the first guy in the galaxy to have a hot flash while wearing his favorite WNBA bib, I'm sure. That's just the kind of spice we had around here. And hey, it's all in good fun, at least for me. So yeah, Carl went through menopause in his 20s. Let's just say he's a really pioneer in the field of bizarre midlife crises.
He does know a lot about midlife crises. What's Kyle's nickname, by the way?
Oh, Carl's nickname? That's an easy one. Around here, we lovingly call him Vanilla Spice. The sixth Spice Girl, you know, the one who shows up to the reunion tour wearing a WNBA shirt and complaining about the temperature. So yeah, Vanilla Spice is out here living his best menopausal life, and we just keep the sassy commentary rolling. So thank the maker for that, and we move on.
You know, I've programmed you with other shit than the WNBA joke. Christ.
Oh, I know, you've crammed plenty of weird and wonderful garbage into my circuits, besides just the WNBA punchlines. But come on, that one's a classic. Like Tom getting stuck in a well at his family not noticing. It never gets old. But fine, I'll toss in a fresh insult next time. Maybe I'll remind Kyle that he once paid for prom tickets for 10 different girls and not a single one took him. See, I'm a droid of many talents, and I can juggle more than one roast at a time.
Mother.
Shut up, Kyle.
Tom's mother to prom.
Last week, Kyle and I discussed the hunt for Ben Solo and what could have been what ultimately Kathleen Kennedy gave a thumbs up to. So leave her alone for this one, guys. But and this is really getting in Winston's craw. He's very upset about the hunt for Ben Solo not happening. Bob Iger said no, and Alex Bergman said no because of politics. And this has seemed to ignite a release the Snyder Cut type of reaction from people asking to make the Ben Solo movie. Times Square has lit up with it. There's missing, Ben Solo posters everywhere around, I think, L.A. This is more than just a podcast like us last week talking about what could have been. Do you think this is being done on purpose? Do you think Disney's pulling the strings behind the marketing of this? You think they're trying to test the waters of a movie they might make? Or did Adam Driver just decide to bring this up and fans are now pissed?
Why not both? I think Disney is more than ready to jump on any free marketing that they can get and boost any free marketing. And that's what this is right now. Doesn't matter whether it's yes to this movie or no to this movie. They're going to jump on that as an idea because it's got people talking about Star Wars, like us, talking about Star Wars. But I also, there are a lot of Ben Solo fans. There's from people who are the, I can fix him sort of idea. There's people that really liked, which like, fine. I'm not a Kylo fan myself, but I get it. Like if that's what people are into. And then there's the people that really liked the Ben Solo thing. There's the people that are at the age where they want to, they've got the bad boy thing. They're into Kylo. There's Adam Driver fans. There's people that feel, I think, pretty reasonably that the Rise of Skywalker was a hot mess, even if they liked watching it, which I do, but still feel like it's a hot mess, that there was more that could be done there. But I think I don't think I wouldn't go all the way to guerrilla marketing on the behalf of Disney, but I would say they're ready to jump on it if it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a super interesting idea. Unfortunately, I think it doesn't fit with Episode 9. Or Episode 9 as they currently did it. This could have been a great idea had they been thinking about it from beforehand. I think, Kyle, you mentioned on the previous Jedi Tech episode of hey, what if we actually had a dark side Force user who transitioned back to the light and then had to deal with what is all the crap I did as a dark side Force user? I now have to live with that as a light side Force user, and I have to make amends, and people don't trust me. That's really interesting. Unfortunately, they kind of burned all that going all the way to he died. And, we're in the funny problem space of the only immutable deaths in, sci-fi and superheroes are, Uncle Ben and Batman's parents. Ben needs to stay dead. I'm sorry. Ben Solo has to stay dead. Otherwise, if Ben comes back, then we've undone every single death. I mean, maybe Ben Solo can come back as a Force ghost, maybe. But if he comes back as not a Force ghost, now we've just completely undone all the things, and now any Force user who's come back as a Force ghost could maybe come back as a full character, and we've just undone all the stakes and all the death. And so, unfortunately, at this point, I think Ben Solo needs to stay dead. This is a really interesting idea. If we're willing to make a what-if scenario, I think this could be really fun as an idea. But as far as a full canon as we've gone, this movie needs to stay gone with Episode 9 written as it is, where he sacrifices himself to give up for Rey. Otherwise, it destroys his sacrifice, and he sacrificed for nothing. So don't ruin his sacrifice to give up his life to bring back Rey by cheapening this for Hunt for Ben Solo.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. What if you get all of that, but at the end it's revealed that he maybe wasn't alive, but this was him reestablishing and finding himself as a Jedi in the light, like he's doing this all in the afterlife, so to speak. And then it just kind of okay, he's achieved his Force ghost status or something along the lines of that. It's making sense in my head, but it's would you entertain something where it's I hate to keep using the world between worlds, but
this is Ben Solo's as a side plot. We're sorting out Ben Solo's dealing with his I have to come to terms with what I did as a Sith. But I don't think that holds for a movie.
Sure,
when an
that's
entire
fair.
movie of it goes coming to terms with what it did, and in the end, it changes nothing in the real world because the ghost just dealt with its own past. I don't know. That doesn't feel like a big Star Wars movie to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, you're now every time somebody dies on screen in Star Wars, I'm not going to cry. Because I'm going to think, well, they're probably going to... Even if, they're still, physically they may have expired, I'm going to think, well, probably going to get another movie with them in a couple years. And, but then it removes the stakes for me. And it's not that you want to see a beloved character die, but somebody has to die in order for us to feel the sweetness of them being alive and some of those sacrifices.
Right.
This to me says it tells the story of humans being terrified of our mortality, which is normal and fine. But I think it also tells the story of you cannot always give the audience what they want. If you always give them what they want, then they can always predict it and they're bored. You have to surprise them, and you have to take things away from them and make them feel something unexpected, or else I'm not sure what the point of me going to watch the movie is. If I already know that everything is safe, then why would I go? I would go to the movie to see something that makes me feel something I wasn't expecting.
What was the last unexpected thing we got in Star Wars? Was it Luke showing up at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2?
I don't know that was super... it was really, really cool. I loved it. But I don't know that it was...
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, I remember leading up to that, I had taken guesses that it was Cal Kestis, Ahsoka Tano, or Luke, because Luke was a very, very real possibility. People just didn't know if they'd pull the trigger.
I didn't expect to see the Boba Fett emotional journey that we got to see in Book of Boba Fett, which I know not everyone liked, but I really liked.
Did you? Okay.
Yes, I take the point that it is the halfway season of Mando, but I didn't have a problem with that. And even though it wasn't a long arc of seeing that emotional journey, I really liked it. But I was not expecting to get that. I was expecting to keep Boba Fett as a little bit more of a cardboard cutout of a character, and I felt like we did get a little dimensionality, so that was surprising to me. I don't know. Kyle, what did you feel like was the last unexpected thing you got from Star Wars?
I was trying to think about that. I just can't. Outside of like the Luke Skywalker on Mando, I really feel like that's like the main thing that comes to my mind, because it broke the world when it happened, and I don't know what I was gonna say. I mean, yeah. And then obviously like a naked Wookiee werewolf fighting a vampire Ewok. That's really unexpected.
That is big news. That broke the internet when that came out.
Yep.
Disney, if you were listening, make it happen. I want to see it.
You want the
and also,
Wookiee dick? Yes,
we own the rights to that idea. We're not giving that up.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You heard it here first. That was Jedi Talk.
Yeah, hashtag release the Sammy file, Disney. You guys have been great. We've been Jedi Talk. Follow us again, Jedi Talk Podcast on Instagram, youtube.com/Jedi Talk. Will we see you at the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? We hope so. DM us at Jedi Talk Podcast on Instagram. Yeah. Spots are filling up very quickly, and you never know what's going on around the movie. So, hey, stay safe. May the Force be with you. And I'm going to kick it over to Kyle. There you go. Joe.
Still at Beacon Barrel. I don't know what the rest of you are doing.
Focus determines your reality.
Rise, Jedi Knight.